President Bola Tinubu throws the challenge of nation building to political leaders, promises to always lead from the front. In Ondo State, the masquerades are coming to town as the race to government house Alagbaka gathers momentum. We have a governorship aspirant in that race for a conversation today. Also on political update, political parties woo women with key positions ahead of crucial polls. We have this and more on our lineup. I am Fisai Ogunfui. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has called for a genuine commitment by political leaders across all levels of government to the growth and development of Nigeria. The president spoke while playing host to state governors at the State House.
We recognize the need to build the nation together. The politics aspect of it is over. The time for governance is now. We are brothers and sisters of each other. We have no choice but commingle, correlate, and spread love among each other. Let me thank you for the policies you just rolled out from the National Dream Program, which has started going out yesterday. It's timely, and at the subnational level, we'll make sure it's executed vigorously. And at the same time, subnationals have played their own part in providing politics for our residents completely in our state. You did mention the issue of cash award in Mina. Let me assure you, sir, that most states, almost all the states, have been doing cash award, and those that have not been doing it, we've engaged ourselves on peer review, and they're engaging in doing it come the end of planting season. The only challenge we have now is between now and the next harvest to make sure we feed our people, because with the program being led by the federal government and the subnational, I'm very sure we're going to have a bumper harvest at the end of this season.
Meanwhile, the federal government says it has allocated 100 billion naira in the 2024 budget to aid the revival of the manufacturing sector in the area of consumer credit. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, confirmed this while shedding light on the implementation of the 2024 Appropriation Act.
The minister said the approved 2024 budget is 28.77 trillion naira from 27.5 trillion naira presented by the president, an increase of 1.2 trillion naira. The additional funding was factored in to account for exchange rate dynamics.
When we presented the budget, we presented an exchange rate of 750 naira to a dollar. But the National Assembly, in its wisdom, adjusted the exchange rate to 800 naira to a dollar. Therefore, that created more revenue. And equally, the National Assembly requested or appropriated that the government-owned enterprises that contribute revenue should also contribute more. And that was the source of the additional funding for the budget.
The infusion of 100 billion naira into consumer credit, according to the minister, is expected to provide the much needed boost to the economy, as it will help in the revival of the manufacturing sector. The minister stressed that the clarification on 2024 budget implementation became necessary to enhance transparency and ensure that all relevant stakeholders, including the media, are on the same page regarding budget priorities, spending plans, and expected outcomes.
Minister of Budget and National Planning there, Atiku Bagudu. The National Security Advisor, Nuri Badu, says community engagement strategy in containing the impact of terrorism in the Northeast will assist in fostering grounds through reconciliation rehabilitation process. The National Security Advisor was speaking during the launch of EU support disengagement review, reintegration and reconciliation, where commitments were pushed towards effective coordination for restoration of permanent peace. The project was part of the Lake Chad Region Security Fund finance at the cost of more than 2 billion euros, which is driven by experts in the management of terrorism and other sundry crimes.
Excellent cooperation and collaboration between the government of Nigeria, EU, and the United Nations system on the DDRR and other projects led to the success of the first phase. For us at the office of the NSA, we will continue to provide the immediate coordination as enshrined in the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022.
We combined also peace and security support through support to some kinetic efforts through the MNJTF, the Multinational Joint Task Force, that we still consider today as one of the most successful regional initiatives to counter terrorism in West and Central Africa region.
Let me first and foremost begin by applauding the vision and tenacity of the European Union for supporting these very great initiatives of addressing the challenges of insurgency through non-kinetic measures.
Now to politics proper. In the past few weeks, the political lenses have been trained on Edo State as candidates to represent different parties in the September 2024 governorship election emerged. Of course, not without some controversies. Now, attention is shifting to Ondo State, which will also have its governorship election later this year. After former Governor Akeredolu's formidable voice was given a befitting farewell, those interested in giving the incumbent, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, a run for his money have started throwing their hats in the ring, so to speak. One of them is here with us, Honorable Gbenga Edema, a former state legislator, a former head of the state's Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, and an immediate past member of the board of Niger Delta Development Commission. Let's first welcome your political update, and nice to see you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
Why do you think this is your time?
Thank you so much. Well, before we start, let me use this opportunity to thank God for the lives of our former governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, and for an impactful life which he lived, and to thank the people that stood by us during the period of our grief, the Southwest Governor, and the President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for standing by us. And he was able to help us stabilize the politics of Ondo State during the period. So I want to thank him. And to also use this opportunity to pray for the repose of the departed, and that God should also grant the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss to the members of the Biden family. Thank you.
All right, so, just tell us, now that, it was a sad loss, but of course, the state has to move forward, and of course, later in the year, we expect to be a keen race to the government house in Alagbaka there. You are one of those who have come forward for the people of the state to scrutinize your credentials. So why do you think this time they should look in your direction?
Thank you so much. You see, in the last 1 or 2 years, a lot of people from Ondo State, political leaders, opinion holders have been approaching me and saying that they want the legacy of Akeredolu to be sustained. And I think I'm the best man for that job. Initially, I didn't consider it too seriously. But in the last 8 months or thereabout, I had the opportunity of meeting Akeredolu himself before his demise. That was in February of 2023. And we discussed it, and I'm sure he was not averse to my aspiration to run, especially since those people who came to me were people that were also very, very close to him, who felt I was the best person to sustain the good legacies he was putting on ground. A lot of them are still at infancy stage. And I felt, if they had called me, why should I not hearken to the call of my people? So I said, okay, here I am, send me.
All right, let's look at, the nitty-gritty of what you're offering. What are you really offering that is different and better than some of the promises that the early entrants are making?
Well, thank you so much. You see, if somebody says he wants to offer something, In Yoruba parlance, they will say, what have you done before? You will be able to tell people, okay, if you are head position, because that is what, if you go for an interview, for instance, like in this organization, they are likely going to look at your education qualification. They are also look at the length of time you have spent in similar trade. And if it's managerial position, what have you done in areas where you are coming from? So apart from the fact that I am a lawyer, I am a legislator, I have also worked with the executive, so I can understand the synergy in governance with which from the prism of a legislator, from the prism of a lawyer, and from the prism of an executive person who also believe that there is what we call corporate governance. And in corporate governance, you must adhere to rules, due process. Some of the people that have held political positions before, one of the problems they have is ability to adhere to due process. And that's why they will use for shortcut to achieve whatever they think they should achieve. And most of the time, they fail, they run foul of the law. So as a lawyer, I should be able to know why are we making a particular law? What is the mischief we want to cure that we're making the law? As a legislator, what do we do to touch the lives of our people in such a manner that they will feel the pulse of the government? Do we need laws for those? Do we need regulations? Or we just give a governorship or governor's order or presidential order, as the case may be? These are areas of my training and skills that I've acquired over the years. Remember, I joined politics, like I told people, by virtue of the fact that the then President Ibrahim Babangida, opened the gate for people like me in 1990 to join politics. And he created the enabling environment by making sure that he banned the money bags. He created the situation where you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be wealthy to be a party member and to also hold positions. He created the SDP and the NRC and made all of us joiner of the party. So since 1990 to date, I have acquired the skill, the knowledge, and the educational qualification that will make me to be better than any of the people that are ascribing to say they want to contest now.
All right, let's look at the politics in the state at the moment. Is it, an agreement within the, people in the state in terms of where it's going now? Is it cast in stone that it should go to the southern region of the state, the southern senatorial district, for instance?
So without prejudice to the sentiment of the people that, yes, because Akeredolu regimes 8 years, Mimiko regime 8 years, then it should come to the southern senatorial district. But we also have to know that when you want to be governor of Ondo State, you want to be governor of 18 local governments, 3 senatorial districts, 203 wards. So one should not predicate it upon the fact that, oh, it has to be zoned. It's only by reason of zoning. You see, like I was talking about what I intend to do differently and looking at my pedigree. When I was the chairman of Osopadec, for instance, I said, we created the
investment. By Osopadec, you mean the oil?
Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission. Our mandate was to manage the 40% of the 13% oil derivation fund. And during the period, there was nothing like investment arm in the department in that establishment. People believe that once allocation comes, spend it, and that's the end. But we began to reason that if oil finishes one day, will that be the obligation of Osopadec? Well, we began the investment arm. And to the glory of God, we were able to create the microfinance bank that touched the lives of our people. They could go there, borrow, and all this microcredit is what our people actually needed to be able to function well in their endeavors. As I'm talking to you, Memphis Microfinance Bank is there. Everybody goes there, you borrow, and they pay. And we meet the capitalization quotient of the central bank. There's no regulation of central bank that Memphis Microfinance has not adhered to or attained. Beyond that, we also...
Which was an initiative of...
that was our initiative when we created the investment arm of Osopadec. Osopadec is the major shareholder in the establishment. We also have the Coastview Global Resources Limited, which also is a company limited by shares. And that company also went into real estate, and we intended to make it a conglomerate. We had the intention, for instance, during the period, to also have fishing trawlers and what have you. But time did not permit us to do so. And I'm not sure whether my successors are in that direction. But to the glory of God, those companies, as I'm talking to you, are functioning and functioning well. Coastview Global Resources, for instance, has over 400 hectares of land spread across Ondo State. And why did we develop the attitude for going to land or real estate? We are aware, for instance, that very soon Ondo State is going to cease to be an administrative state to an industrial harbor or industrial hub. And the reason is because we already have a license for the establishment of a deep sea port in the southern part of Ondo State. We know that people will pass through the Akure Airport to the southern part of Ondo State. And in southern part of Ondo State, for instance, if we have about 300 hectares of land and we build, once the this port starts and they turn the sword in the establishment of the deep state, but then we need accommodation. Then we need a lot of things that will make life comfortable for the people. All right. And that is what we have prepared ourselves to do as an organization.
All right.
So having done that at my cliche, in a small cliche that was given to me, he that is done well in little, you expect him to do well also in big. So give me the opportunity to rule the state, and I will do more.
Okay, let's go to the race itself. Looking at your party, the APC, and some of the people who have indicated interest in this race. Some of the early entrants and some of the names we've been hearing are from your constituency. We have Odushola Oke, of course, and several others, including perhaps the big fish now is the incumbent governor, Lucky Adiyedatiwa. That's a daunting test. Do you believe? I mean, do you agree?
Yes, you see, I have this attitude. I don't underrate anybody in whatever contest I go into. And it has worked for me because it makes me to be well prepared. I have looked at all of them. I look at their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities and threats. And I consider myself the most valuable of all the aspirants. It's my time. For some, age is no longer on their side. For some, they enter politics at a time when nobody can actually determine what they stand for. They don't have a pedigree that they can rely upon. They can't say, okay, for instance, if we were to be in this organization or the military or the police, I joined politics as a university graduate in 1990, having served my NYSC. If I were to have a progression, I should be an AIG or a DIG or a general now. In the same way in politics, you should be able to look at what is this person bringing to the table. What does he possess? Where has he worked before? What did he do where he worked before? These are things that will speak for me. And the people of Ondo State are well educated and well enlightened. You know it. We are one of the best in the whole country. So they are already watching us and they know that I am the best material for the job because my pedigree speaks for me.
Time will tell, and of course other candidates will also come and we see their credentials. You have been able to tell us a bit about yours. Let's move to one or two other stories before we come to close shop with you, from Ondo State. Let's take this. On March the 8th this year, when Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu advocated capital punishment for convicted kidnappers in the country, she was not mincing words. She has again renewed this call, and this time during an audience with senators from Lagos State, urging them to join the campaign against the menace with stiffer laws.
War with all these people coming to pick our children. Yeah. So I want to see the National Assembly taking a more robust stand that, this has to be, capital punishment should be in place.
Her Excellency has guided us. Is for us to, as legislators, to make sure that we continue to look for laws that will continue in the direction of growing the country, improving security, you understand? And so those are the benefits you get from an association like this. No matter how stiff that penalty is, I don't think it's too much or too harsh.
All right, so going on the home stretch now, we've been talking about Ondo State politics, the race to Government House Alagbaka, and we have Gbenga Edema, a former legislator, former head of the oil producing areas development commission of the state, and of course a member of the Niger Delta Development Commission as well, the immediate past board, and is still here with us advertising his credentials. Before we let you go, of course, we're just starting the race, and you are still, busy with your parties. Others are also emerging from other parties at the moment. We saw what played out in Edo State. Sometimes we have parties organizing parallel primaries and all that. How cohesive is the party in your state, and are there conversations already in terms of organizing the primaries?
Yeah, thank you. We don't know Edo State APC is one family. I have not heard of any group of people who say, oh, we differ from the Engineer Adetime-led executive committee of the state. So I don't think we have it. For instance, we had our challenges in November 2023 when the issue of whether the then deputy governor should go into acting and later becoming the substantive governor. And to the glory of God, the president and commander-in-chief intervened as the leader of the party, and everybody adhered. And that's why we have this harmony and this tranquility in our party at this moment. So I don't see anything different coming out of it. The party is one. We are working together as one family. Yes, even in this same family, it's not a crime for people to aspire for whatever is good. And I also believe that the party at the national level, they are in firm control of the situation in Ondo State. So I don't see any crack or any schism coming out of Ondo State on account of us aspiring to be governor. It's natural. In 2016, we had more than 20 people who wanted to be governor when Akeredolu emerged. And we didn't, because of that, broke the party. We went into that election against an incumbent governor or incumbent government of PDP, and we won. So in this case again, as incumbent party in Ondo State, we are going to this election come November 16, 2024, as one man. And we are going to win by the grace of God.
Talking about conversations, people from your area, we understand you are, of course, from the oil-producing part of the state. Thinking that this is their turn as well. You have a lot of illustrious sons coming out. Is there a conversation amongst you that whatever happens, somebody from there should emerge?
We talk, but it's not different from any contest. You see, in the traditional setting, for instance, there are people aspiring to be the traditional ruler of certain community. Sometimes these are zoned even to hereditary positions from father to son, or from one particular, what is it called? One particular ruling house or the other. But they will all aspire. The moment the processes are followed and one of them emerges as the elect, are you with me? Once somebody emerges as the elect, then that's the end. That's the end of the it's responsibility to now gravitate and extend the olive branch to all of them so that they can move forward. For instance, in 2016, in our local government, more than 6 people aspired, as against all the other local governments that had 1 or 2 aspirants. But Akeredolu, in spite of the fact that more than 6 people aspired from his own local government, I mean our local government, he still emerged. And they eventually reconciled themselves, and life moved on, and he ruled. So in the same vein, we are brothers, we talk together, we speak the same language, we have known ourselves for over 10 years or more. So we don't see anything strange or anything unique or unusual for us to aspire.
Time is not our friend on the show. We want to thank Honorable Gbenga Edoma for coming. I wish you the very best, and we'll be keeping an eye on the primaries of the APC as well as other parties in Ondo State to see how things pan out. That has been Political Update for today, and that will be closing our Political Day for this week. We'll be back again on Tuesday. Between now and then, please play your politics for the greater good, and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest and finest, for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.